Hi everyone, good day. I want to discuss with us on another side of this topic why big businesses fail. Why big businesses fail. Many years ago, I read a book titled Why the Mighty Fall or How the Mighty Fall by Jim Collins. That book, I think, is, in my opinion, is the best management book of all times. It's one of the best management book of all times. In fact, I don't know of any other book that beats that book as a management book. After reading that book, I became sober for a long period of time. In that book, Jim Collins gave a stories of many big businesses in America, businesses worth tens and hundreds of billions of dollars. Some of them lasted for close to 100 years, became household names in America, but evaporated into the thin air. Very touching version of stories in that book. You can get a copy of it, How the Mighty Fall by Jim Collins. Now, in Nigeria, there is one particular example I would like to bring to your notice, or to our notice here. A very big business. They were monopolies. In fact, they didn't have, at the time, they didn't have competition. The few companies that came up were like less than dwarfs to them. They controlled over 99% of that industry. But today, in fact, at the time their prices were named in the Nigerian Stock Exchange market. But today that company only exists in the history of Nigerian businesses that came up and disappeared. The name of that company is Mr. Biggs. This concept of eatery, going to eateries, enjoying yourself, taking nice meals, was actually started by Mr. Biggs. Mr. Biggs took Nigeria by storm. They had no competition. But Mr. Biggs today is nowhere to be found. So, there are 3 reasons why big businesses fail. 3 reasons, strong reasons. The first one is the death of innovation. No existence of innovation. When innovation stops to exist, this is how it actually happens. The business becomes very successful, a lot of cash inflows. Suddenly the business management is relaxed because money is pouring in every day. When they started, they came up with a lot of ideas, innovations here and there, but because money is pouring in, they are a monopoly, no competition. They stop innovating. Customers are complaining of this and that. They are not taking that into consideration because they are monopoly. They don't care. There is a demand for new products in that particular industry. They don't care because they are a competition. What will happen is this: those customers that are complaining, those people that are complaining, many of them are business owners as well. Many of them are either people who are entrepreneurial, or they have capital, looking for businesses to invest. And those who have capital can combine with those who are entrepreneurial, and they may have studied certain things you are not doing and say, these people are not doing this, they are not doing that, they're not doing that. If I do this, I can beat this business. And that is actually what happened to Mr. Biggs. A lot of things that they ignored, a lot of factors they refused to factor in, new eateries came up and started doing them and started knocking out Mr. Biggs branches one after the other across the entire country. So, number one reason why big businesses fail is they get to a point of heavy profitability that they begin to think that it is a waste of energy, time, and resources to invest in the same innovation or innovative processes that brought them to the point of profitability. It is only God Almighty that is perfect. Anything that is implemented on this earth as a human or humans with as businesses demands consistent improvement. Look at Google today. Google is running a monopoly on search. You know why? There was a time when Google had a retinue, a good number of competitors. Mama.com, Alta Vista, many of them, MSN.com. Today, those competitors have disappeared. You know why? Because Google invested billions of dollars in research and development, coming up with better ways of delivering search results to customers. Every day, I even heard that there are people who are being paid by Google. All they do is just come and think. They are paid to think, come up with ideas of what to add to the Google search engine. And after a while, the Google search engine became so sophisticated that competitors found it difficult, if not impossible, to compete with Google. Another example in Nigeria is a product known as Close-Up. There was a time in this country where every family makes use of only one toothpaste known as Close-Up. I was raised with Close-Up as well, but today Close-Up is nowhere to be found. Because these people believe that it has to always look reddish and a particular taste. They don't know, can come up with different flavor. Today, they've been blown out of the market. Close-Up is still there, but Close-Up is like a shadow of its former self. Lack of innovation because you have arrived, that arrival mentality, I have arrived syndrome. You are raking in the cash, therefore no innovation. One company in Nigeria that have succeeded in implementing this factor excellently is the company, I think their parent name is Dufil Prima Foods. That line of their products known as Indomie have succeeded in taking a large market share of that industry because the people that started that idea called Indomie have refused to stop innovating. And that is why today, no matter what, we've had companies that come and try to beat Indomie, come up with, even companies that have large finances, I don't want to call the name of that company, with heavy finances came, tried to replicate the same products that Indomie had, but that company failed. Why? Because Indomie for long have been investing in different innovative ideas that have kept them miles apart from any potential competitor. So, number one reason why big businesses fail is the dearth or the lack of innovation. The second reason is poor worker welfare. If you do not take good care of your workers, you do not take good care of them, you do not remunerate them or pay them adequately, you may start losing talents that can drive the success, drive through the processes required to take the company from one level to the other. You will begin to experience brain drain. Your workers are putting in so much mental input, physical input. You have talented workers, but you are paying them peanuts. Take good care of your workers, give them good welfare attention, and they would want to key in to the vision of that company and want to put in their efforts to drive that company to the next level. Because it's not enough to come up with ideas of things you want to implement. You need people to tap into that vision and then implement those ideas effectively. The third one is management, and this is the core of these three factors. Management. You see, any company that does not have a solid, effective, and operational management system that synchronizes with the vision and innovative ideas of that company may have a fault in their results in the long, both in the short term and in the long term. If, for instance, you have an eatery, because I want to focus on the eatery business today, and every day that eatery records 300 customers, you need to come up with ideas. Okay, we have 300 customers every day. In the next quarter, we want to have 500 customers. What are the things that we are expected to, what are the things we can do to improve the number of customers we have? Okay, do we introduce new recipe? Do we improve on the quality of service? Do we change in the interior designs? Do we change or do we improve our workers training programs? Do we place certain adverts or promotional ideas across? Do we make certain adverts? Do we bring in certain promotions? Are there things we need to do? You bring out these steps, and then you have your objectives and you simulate them, you itemize them, you arrange them and organize them, and then you train and structure your management in such a way that these things that are being expected to be implemented by each manager of every branch of that company is actually monitored and evaluated on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Data concerning the results from every branch should be gathered, organized, crunched, and analyzed. Why is it that you are having so amount of money in this week, and the second week you are not having the same amount of money, or there have not been an improvement in the amount? Then you start asking questions, you generate hypotheses. Why? Could it be that they did not do this? Is that why we had less of 100,000 naira? You're supposed to have 1.6 million. It's not 1.6, it's 1.5. Supposed to have 15 million. It's not 15, it's 14.5. What are the reasons? You generate hypotheses, you track it, compare it with your objectives, you check, you go and confirm if the protocols or procedures are being followed. Management by objectives. You monitor and evaluate the daily, weekly, monthly, the results of every branch. Evaluate them judiciously. And when there are lapses, you make efforts to ensure that those lapses are being filled. Then, I think this one just dropped in my mind now. I'm being led by the Holy Spirit, and I believe this, I have to drop this before I go. Customers. There is this statement. I've had it a number of times from Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon.com, says, start from the customers and work backwards. You need to pay attention to the complaints of the customers. Have suggestion boxes, emails that are being read, mails that are read. Ask questions, genuinely ask your customers questions. Can conduct surveys, interviews, give room for criticisms. What are the products? What are the things you're expecting from us? What are the services? Jeff Bezos started Amazon.com by selling books. After a while, he decided to send mails and ask customers, what would you want Amazon to offer you apart from selling of books? Some person says, if you can sell me dishwasher. Some person says, I need windshield. Some person, Amazon now realized that they could sell virtually anything that customers can use in their homes. And that's how they evolved from just selling books to selling so many things in the United States of America. There was a time I read, I think about 1 or 2 years ago, that 40% of e-commerce activities in the United States of America are done on one website, and that is Amazon.com. So the fourth one, if you do not pay attention to the demands, the needs, and criticisms of your customers, you may end up losing them to new competitors who will pay attention to those demands and listen to their criticisms. I believe these points have been made clear. 4 reasons now why businesses fail. 1, lack of innovation. 2, not paying attention to the welfare of workers and remunerating them adequately. The 3rd one, poor management system. I recommend effective management by objectives. And the 4th one, not paying attention to the needs and criticisms of customers. I believe if you implement these principles, whether your business is big or small, and you always put God first, because with God all things are possible. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Your business will only know no limit. Thank you and God bless. If you want business advice or consultancy, you have capital, you don't know which business to go into, or you have business ideas, you don't know which one to implement, feel free to contact me. By the grace of God, I believe your problem will be solved. Book a session with me, and it's not for free, you pay for it. Thank you and God bless.